Welcome back into the Sports Source, the segment brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. As we head towards summer, it's time to start tackling those do-it-yourself projects around the house. You can get the same building materials and the same expertise as the biggest construction companies in the state of Tennessee by visiting A.G. Hines Company. They have been carrying the best building supplies that you can find for 100 years now. Literally, this is their 100th anniversary year. They've been around since 1920. A.G. Hines Company. And if you are a do-it-yourselfer, trust me, they're going to take care of you in terms of expertise, tips, how you use this, what you really need, a lot more than some of the bigger companies out there, the national chains. This is a good local company and been around for a century. A.G. Hines Company. Get down and see them or check out their website or give them a call. All right. We showed you this graphic in the last segment. I realize it's hard to take a look at that, but the gist is, this is 24/7's top 10. Tennessee currently number 2 in the nation based on the total number of points. That's the far right column. Total number of points that they have amassed. They're number 2, only behind Ohio State. The Vols have 7 4- and 5-star players out of their 19 commitments. But Ohio State has 14 4- and 5-star players out of 17. North Carolina has 10 out of 14. Clemson, 10 out of 10. In fact, when you look at the last category that says, the next to last category that says average, you see that the average point ranking for UT's commitments is 89.39. Okay? That's the points per player. That number would put them at number 7 among those 10 teams. That number is actually lower than what Tennessee finished with in last year's signing class. All right. Mike Griffith, who now covers the Georgia Bulldogs, he's covered Tennessee twice. He said this on Paul Feinbaum's show this week, and it caused a bit of a stir because folks didn't want to hear it. All right, are you buying this? How big of a concern? Are we looking at the wrong number here? Should we be looking more at the points per player because Tennessee has a lot of 3-stars in here? Or are you not as concerned by that because you know they're going to keep adding 4s and 5s, including probably 2 more 4s today? Where are you on this?
Well, I think we should be talking about both because there's no doubt that Tennessee benefits from having so many commitments, having the most commitments in the nation. That's what puts Tennessee at number 2 above other schools that have a higher percentage of 4- and 5-star players within their class. But I think Jeremy Pruitt and his coaching staff realize, hey, we need to continue to upgrade the talent level of this class. We are going to have to make some tough decisions as this recruiting process goes through. So it's just true to look at the average and look at the percentage of 4- and 5-star players. If you take Tennessee's percentage compared to the other schools, Tennessee's just behind them. And I think Tennessee staff recognizes that and will try to make some changes to move up in that ranking as well.
All right, hang on, Vince. I'll get to you with this next stat. Let's take a look at the SEC's numbers right now. Far left, I mean the left columns, you've got the number of commitments. You see Tennessee with 19 compared to, well, you got Ole Miss with 3, Vandy 4, etc. But Georgia only 7, LSU only 8, Alabama only 4, Auburn only 4. They're not going to stay there. Total points, according to 24/7 again, that's how many total points are amassed for all their players. Then the blue numbers over on the right, that's the average per player again. And if you look at the ranking, the far right column, Tennessee would be 8th in the SEC now if you went by average per point or average per player. Vince, how much do you expect those numbers to change as Tennessee continues to add better players, but also how are those numbers going to change? And you danced around this in the last segment, which I appreciated, saved it till now. How much is it going to change? Because Tennessee has several recruits, Alabama, Georgia. Well, I'm going to guess Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, they're going to have more than 4 and 7 guys by the time this class ends. So do you expect Tennessee's number to go up, go down? Where are you on this thing?
Well, I think it will go up in terms of where they rank in the average. But keep in mind, part of where they're at in that ranking is what they did early in the commitment stage. March 29th, Tennessee had 7 commitments, only 1 4-star. And so most recently, these additions have been the higher end players. So I think that's a little bit of an outdated opinion and take to say, oh, Tennessee just has a lot of players. It's not because they're bringing in quality players. Well, that's changed as of late. Plus, you're going to have the likelihood of upgrading. Yes, maybe you lose someone else to another team in those battles that you now won. But then also, I think you could see players get upgraded in where their star rating is. And I think Colby Smith, the offensive lineman, could be one of those guys. You could have other guys that when they're reevaluated and farther down the process could get a bump in star rating either from 3 to 4 or 4 to 5. That's also going to change the dynamic as well. So I'm not worried about it. And then the upgrading, I wouldn't want to be one of those guys, one of those 3 stars that was in early in this class, because that's going to happen. And then so you're going to add more higher players to that number.
You're my favorite producer on set today. Chuck, this is how it's done. Chuck likes to produce and just go willy-nilly all over the place. Chuck will be out next, because what we're going to talk about is that what I call kindling strategy. You sign a bunch of 3 stars, get them to go out and recruit for you, get the momentum, and then shove them aside when you can get better players. A lot of schools do it. Tennessee's done it in the past. Any problems with that? We'll discuss it. Come on back on the Sports Source.